It's not safe. So it tells me that we are live. So good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra V, and welcome to Live with Sandra V. And I am flying a little solo tonight because Kenny V, he did come in and he was kind enough to bring me dinner, but he is heading back out the door. So, but I want to welcome all of you. This is episode number 43. And tonight we are going to be making fabric bowls. So again, my name is Sandra Vansicle, and we are here on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Ken's goal and my goal is to inspire, educate, and promote others within the industry that share our same vision. So again, we are so glad to have you here. And hello, Debbie. How are you tonight? It's so good to always have you here. So like I said, as you come in tonight, please let me know that you are here. And I think I could just go hit that little overlay button here. Just give me 1 second. Where, let's see. There's always something going on here. So let me see if I can't get that little thing moved out of the way. Push that up a little bit. Okay, now we got it. Okay. Alrighty. So again, let me know that you're here. And I enjoy all of you being here every week. And hey, Kim, how are you doing this evening? We're going to be seeing you in less than a week. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Hey, Bill, glad to have you here as well. Anyway, I love telling everyone hello. And if you are coming in and it's after 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, then you are catching the replay. And we love it whenever you folks come in afterwards and watch the replay. But sometimes I see the little messages and I think, uh-oh, they think that we are still live. But I want to let you know that I do answer any questions that you have. And hey, Robin, how are you doing this evening? It's good to have you here too. Anyway, like I said, tonight we will be making fabric bowls. And if you've ever made a fabric bowl, or if you've ever wanted to make a fabric bowl, please let me know. And let me know if you've made one, if you've had any success, how you like them. You know, just give me a little feedback on what you've done. Now, to me, this is a great summer project to do, whether you are going to do it for yourself, or if you're going to do it for gift giving, or maybe you have kids around that are out of school and you need to give them something to do, and you don't want to just stick them in the corner with a pair of scissors and some buttons and and scrap fabric to sew buttons on. That's what I used to do with when my kids were small, and I wanted them to learn how to sew. So I would give them one of those big plastic like embroidery needles, and I would thread it with yarn. And I would let them sew these big old fat buttons on just to give them the feel for sewing. It worked some of the time, not all the time. Both of them can sew now, so that's great. But anyway, like I said, this may be a great project if you have kids, or maybe even some of the neighbors' kids that are looking for, a project, or sometimes people babysit grandchildren, whatever. But it's a fun project, and I promise you, if you haven't tried it, you will probably be addicted to it. And I have to tell you what I really like about this project. How many of you start a project, but you never quite finish them? Well, because these are fast and easy, I think that you will find that you will finish this bowl project. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about these fabric bowls. But before I do, let me say hello to some of you out there. Hey, Bonnie, so good to have you again here this week. And Annette, how are you doing? And please, before I forget to share this out with others so that they can join in. I know a lot of folks were pretty excited about coming in and watching this tonight, and some of them said they're going to catch the replay. And hey, Ruth, how are you doing? It's always great to have everyone here. Okay, let's talk about these bowls. I have made a few of these bowls, and I am just in love with them. And you can see here, this was has a really natural look to it, and I even put a little loop, like a little handle almost on there. And can't you just see this, just hung up someplace if you make a lot of them, and if you angle them just right and put them up on a little hook, You could, maybe at the back door you can put keys in them, or even in your workroom, throw buttons in them or whatever. And then this one here, I'll take these little clips off of them. And this one is just a small little bowl and with, colorful. And I love this one too. I think this is just really a nice size. And I can see that you can put all types of, gadgets or whatever in there. Actually, somebody has spoken for this bowl. I got a call today. They said, Sandra, please can I have that bowl? It's Kevin Keiss. I'll tell you who it is. And he wants to put this by one of his sewing machines and throw, I forgot what he said. I don't think he said pins. Weights, that's what it is. He's going to put it by his hammer, and he's going to put weights in it. So he has spoken for this. Now, this bowl here, I did this earlier today. I know because it's white, it's hard to see some of these bowls because of the white balance lighting in here. But this here is just made out of cording, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But you can see how I have put handles on it. Now, like I said, these bowls will be fun for gift giving, and you could even put them on your own counter. Maybe you can put fruit in them. I don't know. You tell me what you would use them for. Okay, I can come up with a lot of ideas. But what I like about these two is, see how flat this is? And I wonder if I can change my view because, let's see which one. Okay, we've got some. Okay, this is a better view here. And you can just see how flat this is. And you can see that how you can make them in different sizes. And this size here, you don't have to make it into a bowl. You can use the same technique and make a trivet or maybe even a placemat and then decorate it. And like you see on the top, I have used this jute rope along the top edge. But you could certainly, like I said, keep it flat. Don't even make it into a bowl and have the jute around the outer edge or fabric. And let me give you a close-up of this one. It's probably a better view. And on this one, I have used just this linen, a strip of linen, and that wasn't enough for me. I wanted to add a little bit more decorative element. So I have this little tiny jute string, I guess you could call it. And so I just intertwined them and added it to the top. And then, like I said, you get a better view. Let me get this bowl out of the way. And you can see how I just made this little loop. Okay, so let's get started. Let me tell you what you need for this project. And it's really pretty simple, and most of you probably already have some of this in your workroom. Now, right off the bat, let me tell you, to cut your fabric, it's best to use a rotary mat and a rotary cutter. It's great to have some scissors on hand and some matching thread, of course. And now with the thread, you can choose whatever color that you want. Your bobbin will be one color, and of course your bobbin color is the color on the outside. Okay, I don't know if you can, let me see if I can get close. You can see the zigzag stitch. Actually, you can see it along the white edge here. So you choose what thread you want on the outside, and then the thread that comes off through your needle, that is the color that's on the inside. Okay, so color thread of your choice. And let's see what else we have here. So we have and in my project, I used, like I said here on the top of this one, I used this jute rope. So it's entirely up to you. You could make this fabric bowl like these two. I'm calling them a fabric bowl, but they're actually made out of clothesline. And here's a big, I guess you could say, skein of clothesline that I purchased at the local hardware store. And it's relatively inexpensive. And what's great about this too is that you can dye this. So if you don't have the color fabric, or you don't want to cover the bowl with fabric, you can certainly dye this. Or you can find some of this clothesline. I think in the hardware store I did see there was some pinks and greens and oranges, you know, those neon colors. So if you want to make a bowl, again, that you don't want to cover with fabric, you can certainly just go ahead and use just the clothesline. And that's what I have done with these two white bowls. Now you can see this one here is a little bit beiger or tanner, or, okay, those aren't the words for it. It's really off-white. Actually, it's aged, because I've had this clothesline cord around for a long time, and so it looks aged, but I like it a lot. Okay, right. So let me see, I'm gonna push some of this out of the way here. And you also, of course, need fabric. Now you can certainly, let me get some of this out of my way. You can certainly use some scrap fabric that you have around, but I'm going to tell you, I really like what you see in some of these fabric stores, that quilters. I guess it's good for quilters. I'm not a quilter. I can't say that that's my passion, but when I went into the local fabric store, I found what they call them jelly rolls. And I thought, okay, I really like how they've taken all this fabric and they've put it together. And I said, okay, I can use that for my fabric bowl. So I bought a couple jelly rolls, and whenever I got ready to start to wrap my cording, it was easy for me to decide what fabrics I was going to put on the cording first, and then second, third, and fourth, because the way that they have it laid out. Let me see if I can get a close-up. I'll try to get the right, there we go. So as you can see, they already really have it laid out for you, you know, where they've put it here on this jelly roll. And same, and these are actually the fabrics that I used, were right here. And again, I just put them in order that they had them on the roll. I put them in order around my cording, made it easy. But you might have a better eye at that and want to change them around. But the fun thing is you don't really know how they're going to come out. See, this one has a dark bottom, and if you went tonight, you're going to see I am going to start with a different color tonight, and let's see how the bowl looks, and we'll compare them when they're done. So, okay, what else did I leave with? Okay, so I already said you need the clothesline, you need fabric, and we'll talk a little bit about the size of the fabric strips in just a moment. You can certainly, like I said, if you have twine or if you have yarns or whatever you want to intertwine in here, go ahead and have fun with it. Okay, put that there. You're going to need a quilter's grid, and you will need, it's good to have a little clothespin close at hand, or even a little clip, and I think some of you have them. Okay, yeah, okay, and let's see, we don't need that, so we'll move that. And also I have a couple of these little clamps, and these are my little helpers in the workroom. They actually are for beach towels, and I'm going to use these tonight to help hold down my clothesline so I can wrap the fabric around. Okay, so let's see. Okay, maybe you can see that better there. Okay, and needles, make sure that you will use maybe a size like 14 needle, a larger needle, because some of this cording and wrapped with the fabric may get a little coarse. In this way, it will pierce the fabric or the jute webbing a lot easier. And of course, you're going to want a sewing machine that has a wide zigzag stitch. Now, for this project, I actually used my home faff machine because it gave me that wide stitch. and I gave away my industrial zigzag machine. So, and I think most of you probably have a home machine that does that, right? Let me know. Okay, anybody else out there that I need to say hello to? Let's see. There's Diana. Hershey, hey, how are you doing, Diana? And Maureen, it's good to have you here tonight as well. And Donna, hey Donna, going to see you in a couple of days too. Thanks, Ruth. Yes, aren't they pretty fabrics? Of course, you all know that I am a blue-green person. I love, these are my favorite colors. But again, you know, you can choose whatever colors that you want or go natural. You know, and I will tell you that I was really excited about making this big basket because I have a big counter space, and I can't wait to put this on there and fill it with fruit. But can't you just see, you know, maybe for Christmas time, making these baskets and giving them to clients? Or think about this too, because I think everybody out there pretty much does window treatments, right? And if you're making window treatments for a client, especially in their kitchen, wouldn't it be nice to go ahead and make them a fabric bowl to match? And I know that these here have a little, like a little, I don't know, it's not that shabby chic, but they don't look, well, even if they do look a little homemade, it's okay, because I think that the clients will really cherish them, and I'm sure that they can find a use for them, right? Okay, did anybody else out there, did anybody say that they've tried making these before? Let's see. Hey, Debbie, how are you? From Sydney. Hey, that's wonderful. What time is it in Sydney? It's a little after 7 here in the States. But I know you are, I believe, way ahead of us, at least 8 or 9 hours, but I'm not sure. But it's good to have you here. I love you ladies that come in and gentlemen that come in from overseas, because you make us international. Okay. All right. Let's get started making this. So let's talk about the fabric. I'm going to get some of this out of my way that I don't need, kind of clear my space here. And let's see. I can check here too. Oh, 9 a.m. she said. Cool. Yeah, so see, you're almost 10. Is that 10 hours? Did I count it right? Yeah. Okay, good, Diana. I know, me too. For years, I'm thinking, you know, they look hard, but they're not. And when you see this, you're going to go, wow, that is so easy. And I'm telling you, you're going to get addicted. I did. I could just make them real quick. Like I said, I'll tell you, Sunday I was in here, and I thought, oh, I need to make those baskets for the show. And I made this basket and that little basket with a handle, I don't know, by the time I got in here and set up and got everything cut, it was probably just a few hours, so, or less, I don't know. You lose time when you get in the workroom, right? Okay, so I used the jelly roll because I love the colors, and it was easy for me, and I didn't have to go in and waste money buying a lot of the fat quarters, or, you know, trying to decide what I wanted. Sometimes this makes the decisions for you, right? So yeah, check out those fabric stores. So what you're going to do is take these strips, and these strips are actually, I think they're 44 inches long, and they're about 2.5 inches wide. And like I said, I'm not a quilter, so I'm not 100% that all jelly rolls come the same size. So you might want to check that out. And this make it easy, because this fabric is kind of, you know, thin, and you don't want to have to use your hands if you don't need to. So let me see if I get a top-down view for you. Okay, is that my good view? Let's see. Okay, this might be better. And so I've just taken and I folded it into 4s. And you don't have to worry about this being absolutely perfect, because if you can see over here, you know, I might have just a little extra fabric hanging off. It might not be lined up 100%, and that's okay. And I am going to cut my strips, since this is 2.5 inches, just cut it in half. And so I'm going to put my quilter's guide right up there, and I'm going to cut it at 1 1/4, right? And of course, let's see. And it's okay. you can use, if you only have 1-inch strips, you can do 1-inch strips too. You just want to make them large enough so that they'll overlap as you coil them or wrap them around the cording. And I will tell you before I forget that you can use cotton cording as well. You don't have to use the clothesline. And the clothesline is actually about a quarter of an inch wide. And so if you have quarter-inch cording, I haven't tried to make a smaller, use a smaller cord for the bowls, but that would be interesting, but it would probably be time consuming as well. So that's all you have to do is go ahead and cut your strips. Okay. And I'll have to tell you that with these jelly rolls, I only had I think they had 2 of each color, and I only had to use a quarter of that to make this little bowl here. So these go a long way. And I think I probably used about 5 or 6 yards. Okay, so I'm only gonna cut this one because I already have some pre-made to help tonight flow quicker. So I'm going to take my strip and I'm going to take my clothesline that I have here, and I am going to begin by putting a little glue. And I think I forgot to tell you guys that you also need some fabric glue, and a lot of us use this Fringe adhesive from Rolly, but just a little fabric glue would do. And you don't really need a whole lot. And let me give you another close-up for here. Oh, wrong close-up. Okay. And I probably get carried away with my glue. And you just need a little dab to get it started. And you can cut that fray off if you want to. But I'll tell you what, when you cut it off, you can cut it at a little angle. It pops. It doesn't do any good. It just pops and frays again. So, but just take this, and you want to put it just at a little angle. And it's okay to have some of that fabric hanging off the edge, and just wrap it. Okay. And if you need a little bit more glue, you don't want too much. You don't want to gum up your needle. And then you're going to just begin by wrapping it. And I don't know if you can see my hands really well. And you're just going to, if I can get it. I'm losing a lot of control with my fingers the older I get, so bear with me. Okay, and you can see how I'm going to begin just wrapping the fabric around the clothesline. I want to call it cording, but I guess it is cord, isn't it? Rope, clothesline. Okay, and so your end, you can just kind of pinch it closed. Okay, because you're going to stitch over it anyway. Okay. Now you can wrap it a few times if you want to, but some people, I think, find it easier just to take it to the machine and let the machine give you a little to hold it down and then to wrap it at the machine. But I'm going to wrap a little bit here because I want you to see how we're just going to overlap. Can you see that? Here's the clothesline. And I'm just going to wrap that fabric around. Now I want to mention something before I forget. See how this fabric is, once I wrap it and I have to pull it, don't get overzealous and say, okay, I want to cut 5 yards of fabric, or I'm going to take all my strips and I'm going to stitch them together and give me, 5 or 6 yards. Because if you do that, you're going to be here all day long, and you're going to be wrapping this fabric around here, and you're going to be pulling, and you're going to be pulling, and you're going to be tangling all the fabric all up with the clothesline. So just do a strip at a time. Okay. And so like I said, you're just going to wrap it kind of tight. And again, as long as you're bringing it around and you are overlapping, that's what you want to do. Now, I could have at the very beginning where I put the glue, remember that clothespin that I had, I could have just put it on there to hold everything together, but the glue did a nice job for me. And I don't know, a lot of you, I don't know what these little clips are called, but a lot of people are starting to use them in the workrooms. These actually come from Ready Shade. These are actually the little clips that go on the those paper shades. And so, you know, Mr. Installer, I've asked him to give those to me whenever he has some left over from a job. So that's where those came from. Okay, so I've wrapped this, you know, and like I said, you can certainly wrap it all the way if you want to. And let me show you one other little trick before I take this to the machine. If you decide that you want to go ahead and wrap all your fabric on here to save time when you get to the machine, you can do that. And you can use, like I said, I just knocked my light down. You can use these little helpers, these little clamps, and maybe you have a clamp of your own that you use. And go ahead and take it, and I will clamp it right here on the table. And I'll take another one, and I will clamp it. Let's see, I'll probably have to give you another view here so you can see it. And I'll clamp it down on my table, and I'll give it a little bit of slack here. Okay, and let me see if I can give you another view. Nope, wrong view. Okay, there you go. And you can see how it's holding it taut for me, but I can lift it up off the table. I can just take and switch hands with this and just wrap and wrap. While my little frogs, tadpoles, I'm not really sure what they are holding my cording. And I can just wrap and wrap and wrap. So it's entirely up to you. Or if you're at the machine and you start to do your coil, you can certainly do it at the machine too. But I'm just going to do this one real quick because I have it here. Now I did come up with a different method of doing this that was quite quick too, and I'll tell you about that. And as you go along, like anything else, you all develop your own little techniques. And so, yes, Sherilyn, there's Wonder Clips. That's what they're called. That's what they're called. Hey, Krista, how are you doing? Thank you, Sherilyn, for that, because I did, I know they had a name, but, okay. And so I've gotten right here, I'm almost off the screen. So I'm going to take my paper clip, and I'm going to unclip here and unclip this, and I'm just going to move it down. And again, this is only if you feel like, you know, you're more efficient by wrapping all your strands at the same time. You can certainly do that. So, did anybody tell me they've done this yet? Let me see. Everyone wanted to make them, but I haven't seen anybody that wanted them. Fascinating. Okay. Give it a little slack here. Probably should have moved it down just a little bit more. Okay. Has everybody been enjoying their summer? Anybody gone anywhere fun? We have. We've been to the beach, and we've spent a little bit of time in Canada, in Washington State, in Oregon, and I'll tell you all right now before I forget that next week I will not be here because I will be in High Point with my good friend Kim Shagnon, and she is here tonight. She is with Kim's Upholstery, and she is having a upholstery meetup little retreat. And there's going to be about 22, 25 of us. So we're going to have a really good time there. And we're just going to be scouring High Point and visiting fabric companies and upholstery people and sewing machine places. So I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think some of you out there may be joining us. Okay, so to join your next piece of fabric, okay, you just want to go ahead and actually take this last piece. And again, just a little bit of glue. Okay. I just put a little bit of glue there. Can you see that? I got the thing up there. Okay, so I put a little bit of glue on that end. I didn't mean to let it go. And I just kind of wrapped it. And then again, I started with the next piece. And I put that at a little angle. Can you see that little angle on there? I don't know if you can see that. Is that better? And Sherilyn, I forgot what she already said. I had it up there. Okay, you use 2-inch strips. Yeah, I did, because I just didn't want to cut it off any. I went ahead and just did this in half and did the 1 1/4, I should say. It was 2 1/2 and I made it 1 1/4. Okay, and then you can just glue it, and then you just continue on. I didn't cut another strip, so here's the same color, but of course you would do the color change and add a little glue, and you continue on. Or, like I said earlier, you can start to wrap the fabric at the very beginning, and then take it right to your machine and start stitching, stop and wrap, stitch, stop and wrap. But to me, this was the more efficient way. And because when I do something, I want it to go quick. How about you? Okay, so let me come back here. I don't think you want to see me stand here and wrap fabric all night long, do you? So I went ahead, and this afternoon, I wrapped my clothesline. So it would be all ready so I can go right to stitching. But before I do that, let's see. Sherilyn said, wow, that was fun. It sounds like fun, right? Yeah, and it's going to be fun. I just know we're going to have a really good time. This is her first time doing this, and don't kill me if I say this, Kim, and it's not true, but if it goes over big, we'll have another, right? So anyway, it's going to be fun. And Bonnie said she's so jealous she wished she could come, and I wish she could too. But again, I know Kim's going to have another one. So you come to the second annual one. And so Kim said that she is excited for the first meetup too. If you'll haven't met her before, hopefully one day you will in person, but you can see her on Wednesdays. You know, she's live on Wednesdays at 12:30. So yes, Diana, this is recorded, so you can come back and watch it. Okay. All right, let me get going here. I don't even know what time it is. You know me, I ramble and I can just run out of time. So, what is the time? Let me see. Hold on. Oh, never mind. I have a new Fitbit, and it tells me the time if I tap it twice. How many of you have a Fitbit? Okay, so, okay, 7:30. Let's go. 7:34 to be exact. Okay, I'm going to the machine now, and again, I am using my fat zigzag. Well, it's regular. I'm going to use a wide zigzag, and I'm going to turn it on. And as you can see, I'm going to use a wider foot on mine, and I'm going to use a wide zigzag. And I'm going to set this at the, let me hit escape and get to the right one. Okay, so I'm going to set this long, about 4, and let me set it to 5. And you can always change it. I think I like to start it a little bit wide so I can catch the bottom, and then I'm going to bump the other up to 6 cents long. Yep. Okay. So I'm at 5 long and 6 wide. And again, I'm going to be starting with the white. And you can see here how I have the cord is on the inside. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to fold it down. And you determine what size base that you want. Now, some folks will take them and you can coil it up real small. You can pinch it real small and then start to turn it and coil it and start your circle small, or you can get just a little bit larger if you want to and just fold it, fold it in half like that. I gotta get to where my camera is here. Just fold it in half. And I'm going to start mine this way. And I am going to use my aqua thread because a lot of my threads are aqua. So I'm just going to push this underneath. Now, my hand's going to get in the way a couple of times. But let me see if I can't. This is an embroidery machine, and so sometimes it tends to go into embroidery mode if it gets a little bit high. I know a couple of you said you have this machine, and so I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have my cording underneath the presser foot, and I don't know if you can see it, but right here in the center is there's a center red long line, and you're going to want to keep the gap of your cording in the center, and just use that as your guide, that red line as your guide. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, so it's going to give me a little hard time to start because it said it is, okay, it's telling me to bring my foot down. There we go. And I guess that would work if I wrap my foot too. Okay. Now you want to set your machine, if you have it, with your needle in the down position, like that, so it makes it easier when you go to turn. And so I'm just going to lift, and I'm going to turn this. And actually, I've already told you all wrong. Let me change this around. Okay, let me turn this around. I think I started it wrong. And I've done that every time I've made my bowl. But you'll catch it like I did right away. And you can see why. Okay, actually what has to happen is that your cording needs to be onto facing your right hand. Okay, so it's like a, what do you want to call it? A upside down J. And where on your left hand you're holding the center, and then the right hand is how the cording comes down. Then you're going to fold it in half. Okay. And I'm going to get it underneath there. Okay, it's fidgety to get started, but once you get started, it's great. I'm just trying to keep my hand out of the way for you. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, and then you get to the end, your needle is down, and you're just going to push that up in there. Again, and this is the tricky part. It's really hard to keep that center line of your foot into the center of where the fabric meets, but you just have to just get it going, and give it a little push. And this is where the wide zigzag comes in. Okay, and you can lift your foot. You don't always have to lift your foot. If you can just turn it without doing lifting the foot, you can. My machine again, so it gets going. It's in embroidery mode. Okay. It's not embroidery. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to turn it. And you don't have to try to go really fast. Take your time. Okay. And I'm going to lift it this time just to kind of turn it to begin the coil. And then the zigzag is not real pretty at this time. And it's probably the worst on white with aqua. But it's okay. And it's okay if your wrapping isn't perfect every time. I think that's kind of the beauty of this bowl. And you can see how that wrapping, because I pre-wrapped it. You can just tuck it underneath there. And if your fabric frays, that's okay too. Okay, it's going into embroidery mode on me. You know what? When I did this offline, it didn't do this once. Who else has this machine out there? I think Maureen, you said you did. Quite a few people did. Okay, and you can see as it gets larger, it's easier to turn and coil. And again, if you come across an area that's you need to tuck a little bit, that's fine. And again, like I said earlier, if you find that you want to stitch a little bit and then stop and wrap your fabric while you're at the machine, you can do that too. But I did not want to stop. When I got going, I wanted to keep it going. Hopefully you can see this okay. In a few minutes, you're going to see the art of this. It's really... Okay, and now that it's going, I'm going to go a little bit faster, and you can see how it's growing. Now I've already had my color change. And do you see how having where the cord is coming off the machine has got to be on the right hand side? Because if you're coiling it on the left. And again, it just really depends on how big you want your bowl to be. And if you start with a small base and you start to get it to angle, you're going to have a smaller, narrower bowl. And like on my bowls, if you want a larger bowl, you make a larger base, obviously. I haven't decided. You guys tell me, should I make this a little bit bigger? Or what? A little bit bigger or keep it smaller? And Maureen says, so that foot doesn't allow the differential feed to be engaged. No, it doesn't. You're right. See this here? That's what Maureen is talking about. This foot, this machine actually has what we would call like a walking foot, the differential feed, a foot on here. And the foot that I'm using, it's wider across than the normal foot. And I know I was thinking about that when I first did this, and think, oh, but it's more important to have the wider foot. Okay. Any more questions? Anybody else come in that I haven't said hello to? If you're just coming in, we are making a fabric bowl, and this one is out of with fabric wrapped around clothesline. And Bonnie said, a long way from New Brunswick. And why did you say that, Bonnie? So, okay, so let's see. Well, what would you put in this kind of bowl? You guys tell me, would you put keys in there? Would you put buttons? Would you put, what would you put in your bowl? Who's going to make a bowl? I should ask that question. Bigger, make it a little bit bigger? Okay, I will. Thank you, Kim. But these would make just great you know, coasters for, like, of course, these are beachy colors. So if you had a beach house, you can make coasters. And, you know, I'm going to make another one. I don't know when I have the time, but many of you know the Trim Queen, and she saw it out on Instagram. And right away, Sandra, can we put fringe around the edge? You know? And I'm going to make one, and I'm going to cut, let me come to you what I can do. I want to make one, and around the edge, I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet, but I am going to cut other pieces of fabric, maybe almost in a, what this would this shape be? Almost like, you know, around, and then angle it in a little bit, and it'll be around on the bottom again, like, so the top and bottom would be the same. I guess I'd have to draw it for you, but you know what I'm saying, narrow in the center, and so that I could put it through here, and then tie it, and so it'd be fringed all the way around the top. And yes, Robin, everyone is getting a fabric bowl for Christmas. I can tell you, they're sturdy, and this this clothesline really does give it a nice, you know, it's not like, look, I'm pushing it, and it's not flimsy. Well, I mean, it's soft, but it's not, you know, it's not like collapsing. And I really like being able to put the little tab on there so that you can make them and hang them. And okay, see, I'm going crazy. I get excited. But when you see how we're going around, I want to maybe make one with a handle, but maybe go back and forth, maybe 3/4 of the way around. Don't go all the way, and keep looping it back so that when you hang it, let's see. So if you hang it where the top side is here, then it would have more of a I don't know, a cover or a belly on this side. I don't know. I want to try it anyway. If I do, I'll let you know. Yes, Sherilyn, hourglass, but it kind of goes around, then it comes in and it comes back around, and then, you know, just tie it so it's fringy around the top. And Bonnie said, keep these flat for hot plates would be a great. Exactly. Can you imagine making some even nice, like little trivets, and for your plates, and for your coasters, for your waters, but make them matching. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? This is so exciting. I'm excited. Okay, let me get going again. Let me get the right view here. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me go around. I think I'm going to finish this color, and then I'm going to start. I want to show you the magic. This is what we want to get into. I need to watch my time too. And here's the thing too. If you happen to skip a stitch, and I think I just skipped a little one, you can go back and zigzag over it. Can you guys see that, the stitching? But these would just be so much fun. And again, you know, you're going slow enough, and sometimes you have little machines for kids, and they can maneuver a machine, or sometimes, I know the old Fast, you could slow them down. I don't think I can slow, but they go pretty slow. I mean, you can, you know, an 8-year-old, certainly. Donna, if you're out there, you teach young children how to sew. They can do this. Okay, so I'm getting to the green, and now I want to start to build my edge. So all you have to do, and if you can see this, I can't, I don't know if I can back up a little bit on that camera, but here, I can do this. What I'm going to do now, if you can see my hand, and I'm just going to bring my hand up, and I'm putting it flat against this base, and I'm just pushing it up against the side of my sewing machine. And then you see how my hand kind of is, my fingers are going around this edge, and they're just going to kind of hold it there, and then I will use the thumb on the front to kind of help push, keep things going around. And this is going to start making the side. This is the magic. Okay, so here we go. And I'm just going to start to zigzag, and I'm holding it up. And again, I see my I pull that. It was a little loose right in here, and all I did was to turn my cord. And it tightened up. And again, my hand is holding up. I can see without my glasses doing this. My hand is just holding up that round disc. making sure that my little red mark is right in the center of those two fabrics. So my zigzag is catching it. Okay, and I'll give you a wider view too so you can see from a distance. Now, I guess I did pre-wrap this, and some of it is coming loose, but you can definitely just use your fingers to wrap it up again. Okay. And I don't think there's anything perfect about these bowls, other than that they're perfectly special when you give them away. And you can see how, again, I'm just going around. Okay, let me tuck this in and wrap it. What bowl did you guys like so far? Did you like the little blue one or the natural looking ones? Okay, so over here. Like this. I really wanted to do a gray linen around the top. And I thought, well, let me try that jute rope. Again, that's inexpensive, $5 for this big old spool. You can get a lot of bowls out of that. And you know what? You could even use this for the main part of your bowl if you wanted to. And then add fabric to the top. A lot of options. Is that the right one? Oh, I'm sorry. I keep getting the wrong view here. Okay. So I guess this would be one advantage of wrapping as you go. Some of it does get a little loose, but you can just wrap it with your fingers. And I have to tell you, if you think, well, maybe I want to make a smaller zigzag, you can, but go ahead and make a larger one, because I really like the larger one. And one thing I forgot to tell you all too is that before you get started on this project, go ahead and wind about 3 or 4 bobbins. I did forget to tell you that. Because again, it just makes the process quicker. And Donna, you like them all? Yeah, thank you. I don't know about you, but I love fabric. And I think you all do too. And I have a hard time tossing it. And I actually have a tote full of silk scraps. And some of them are just real small pieces. And I can just, I've had them for years. And the girls here used to laugh at me, and they used to say, Sandra, you can make a duvet out of that little 2x2 piece, can't you? And but now maybe I can put them together and make a bowl. So, and Robin, you said you like every one. Thanks. Robin, I would love to see you make them, because you are one incredibly creative lady. I've seen some of the things that you've done, and I would love to see your bowls, because I know that yours would just be out of this world. Show us your bowl. Okay, so you see, and like I said, I'm just holding this up sideways, and you can see how the edge of the bowl is just building. Okay, and again, that's pulled, and I'm just going to tuck it. It's going to be interesting to see how these two blue-green bowls come out, since I've reversed some of the order of the fabric. Okay. Who's going to do one tomorrow or tonight? And you can see how quickly it's growing. Can you see it now? And isn't it incredible? Don't you wonder who comes up with this stuff? I do. It's like, oh my gosh, you know. Who would ever think that starting with a base and then turning it sideways could create a bowl? I went a little bit faster. Let me back up a little bit because I got carried away. So I'm almost done. I'm on my last color. Let me look at my time. Oh, good. I finished on time tonight. That's unusual for me. I think I've told everybody that I won't be here next week because I'll be in High Point. But the week after, I am planning on talking about and making an awning. Or talk about different types of awning. And there's one that you can make out of basically you make basically a flat treatment, and you can make it into an awning. And the awning is cute. In a bathroom, you can put it over a tub, and it makes it look like a cabana. Or you could put it in a kitchen or in a child's room. So I definitely want to talk about awnings, and that is going to be a fun project too. So we're getting back to window treatments a little bit, and then so I thought that we could do that. We've been doing some crafts here lately. It's summertime, right? And sometimes we just need a break from our normal daily routine to make fun things. And again, you know, makes you feel better when you can get rid of your scraps instead of tossing them. Oh, I know a lot of people give them away. And I wanted to let everybody know too that I think a lot of you knew that we had a family member that was ill, and so it kind of set us back a little bit, but I am going to be posting out there about my new classes. I'm going to do some more Roman shade classes, step up Roman shade, more advanced Roman shade classes, as well as valances, cornice boards. So that's all coming. It's just taken us some time to get through this time with a family member who's not well. So, okay, and so Donna's going to make one as soon as her schedule allows, because it looks like a lot of fun. It is, Donna. So, okay, so as I'm getting here to the end, yes, Sherilyn, that's the one I'm talking about, is that one. So, okay, let me get to this here. So when we get to the end, I've already wrapped it, just like I did when we began, and just kind of pinch the ends. And you can, if I use my other hand, you can see how I pushed it down. And then I'm just going to lay it up against the bowl. And I'm just going to stitch it. And I'm going to do a little back stitch. And then Bonnie, you said you can't, let's see, you can't to see the awning. I can't wait to see the awning. Yeah, it is really cool. We've used these in model homes, and it's a fun project, and it's easy. And awnings are just so cute. I just love awnings. Okay, so we are done with this bowl. Let me just pull it out. Okay, and so you can see this. Okay. Okay, Sherilyn, you watch that one. All right. And so there's our bowl. Hey, Rhonda, how are you doing tonight? And so here we have two bowls, and they're made out of the same fabrics. And you can see how they have a little bit of a different look. And of course, this one has the, has the lighter center. Let me stand up here. Has the lighter inner, and this one has the darker inner. But they're still both really pretty, don't you think? So they're excited. I should measure. And I see Jeannie McDermott's here. How are you? And let me see if I can get a closer view. Okay, there you go. So there you have it. Okay, we have these two here, and if I take my measure, and I'm going to measure them for you. We're right at the top of the hour, so I'm going to measure them, and then we're going to hop out of here, and we'll see you all in a couple of weeks. But this measures about 6 inches wide, and they are about 3 inches deep, and the base is about 4.5. So there you have it, folks. And thank you, Krista. They're very cute. Well, I hope that you all have enjoyed this episode on making the fabric bowls, and hope that you all will make some and show them to me out there on Live with Sandra V. So we will hop on in here on time tonight, and we will see you all in 2 weeks when we make the fabric awning. You're going to love it. Until then, thanks everyone, and have a good 2 weeks, and have a wonderful vacation. Okay, if you're on one or going to go on one. Okay, thank you, Kim, and that was fun. Thank you. Okay, I need my mouse, and we're going to be out of here. Okay, everyone, good night. I can't.